Domestic animal abuse is a widespread issue that occurs every day. According to the ASPCA, which is the American which is the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, a helpless domestic animal is being abused every 10 seconds. Many cases of physical animal abuse will go unknown because of the fact that animals are unable to stand up for themselves. And when they do, their owner will take them to be immediately euthanized, not mentioning the previous pain they had recently inflicted on them. It is because of this helplessness and because of this abuse, today I will be talking about domestic animal abuse in America. Today we will go through 3 topics: the history of domestic animal abuse and the psychological damage it causes, what is domestic animal abuse and the misconceptions, and finally we will talk about why people choose to abuse their animals. If I had told you that domestic animal abuse was used as a form of entertainment, would you believe me? Originally, when asked about this topic, the first thing to come to mind was dogfighting. Dogfighting is known as a blood sport that takes 2 dogs and throws them into a ring and forces them to fight until one is no longer breathing. Preparing for this violent sport starts at a very young age. The American Pit Bull Terrier is taken as a puppy and is encouraged to show violent behavior and is forced to take steroids. And when they aren't immorally training, they're being chained up outside in the hot summer sun or the cold winter weather. And although that the pain and the damage from these fights will eventually fade, the psychological damage will never subside. And many people believe that it's just physical damage that one can inflict upon an animal, though it is so much more than that. Which brings us to our second topic. What is domestic animal abuse? Domestic animal abuse can be defined in many ways. Many people believe that it's just inflicting physical pain, like I said, though not showing the animal the proper love and attention they deserve and need, and not providing them with the proper necessities they need to survive is also abuse, neglect. When a person is feeling neglected, they can grow to feel depression, anxiety, abandonment issues, all psychological issues that one should never have to face. And unfortunately, the same goes for animals. According to the Humane Society of the U.S., many animals that those who notice this abuse and turn animals into the Humane Society, unfortunately, this treatment doesn't always change. It is rare to find an animal shelter that gives animals the proper love, attention, and exercise they need to survive. Domestic animals usually sit in cages, growing lonely and confused as to why they are so unwanted. Which brings us to our final topic: why people choose to abuse their animals. Many people can find themselves abusing their animals unknowingly, and I know that may sound ridiculous or unbelievable, but unfortunately it is true. Many people don't think about their busy lifestyles or the responsibility it takes to own an animal when adopting one. So many times these animals spend their time in cages, waiting for their owner to come home, or even going hungry because their owner has forgotten to feed them. And they never see the outside because their owner is too busy to take them on walks. This is also a sign of neglect. But I can't decide which is worse, neglect or physical harm. According to the Legal Defense Fund, many people who have a history of domestic abuse or have psychological issues such as bipolar disorder or anger management have a higher chance of abusing their pet. This also happens when one is growing impatient with their pet, such as housebreaking them or adapting to their hyperactive personalities. But either way, the animal is always the victim. Today we talked about the history of domestic animal abuse and the psychological damage it causes going through dog fighting. We also talked about what is domestic animal abuse and going through neglect and physical harm. And finally, we talked about why people choose to abuse their animals, knowingly or not. When we adopt an animal, we are saving them. We can do whatever we want to those animals, and they will still stay there by our side. Don't you think that an animal deserves the same love and attention they show us in return? So the next time you see an animal acting distant or nervous or skittish, just think about their past and what they might have gone through, and show them that they are loved, that they are wanted.